I never felt like I could rest unless all of my concerns and issues and everything on my to-do list was done. And of course, that's never the case. There's always something to worry about. There's always something on your to-do list that needs to be done. So I was just in this chronic state of like, man, I wish I could feel relaxed, but I can't because there's all these problems and there's all these issues and there's all these things going on and my to-do list is so long. And so overall, as I was doing these meditations and I started imagining all of these issues and concerns and fears like being resolved, I started to kind of take my brain over from this space of like survival mode over into a more peaceful state. Because instead of feeling like I could never rest until all these issues were fixed, I was spending every morning thinking, man, how great is it going to feel when that thing is just like fixed? When we have more money, when my health is better, when all these, when all these issues are resolved. And so my brain went over from survival mode over to these problems have solutions. And so instead of waiting for these things to be resolved before I could feel peaceful and feel calm, I started to realize I could feel calm and peaceful because all of these issues that I have do have solutions. And even though the solution isn't here right now, because a solution exists, I can relax. I can take it easy. I can work toward this thing slowly and confidently and just not feel all of this urgency and anxiety that's just constantly boiling over. So that was incredible. And I felt like there was just this huge shift again where I'm going over from survival mode over to this more optimistic, more content, more peaceful attitude towards life. And again, not that I was perfect, but it was substantial. And I've tried a lot of things over the years to work through issues from my childhood, a lot of therapy, a lot of different techniques. Everything, I feel like everything has helped me, but I don't think anything has helped me as substantially as um, proactively and consistently doing these meditations. Um, yeah, so it was really incredible and it was really exciting. One other example from my own experiences in doing these meditations was I had developed an eating disorder. I'm saying that without actually knowing that, just based off the symptoms. I was having a really, really hard time with food, and it was um in my mind, it was a result of so many really strict elimination diets I was doing in order to try to help my health that ended up like just kind of feeling like it kind of broke my brain around food where I just wanted to eat everything all the time because I couldn't have certain foods for so long. And I was just binge eating a lot. And it was really, really bad. I was gaining weight really fast and I was feeling really sick because I was eating so many unhealthy foods that I couldn't have for so long. And I was really scared. I was really, really scared because I wasn't sure how I just felt completely out of control. I wasn't sure how I could get myself to not be doing that anymore. And it was I don't know, it was a really, really hard time for me. I had never ever ever felt so out of control with food before. And so I started focusing on that with my meditations and I would just in my meditations, I do all the relaxing stuff and then I would just imagine myself feeling really neutral about food, feeling really calm, feeling like I can enjoy food in healthy increments. I even ended up like talking to a bunch of my friends that I feel like have really good relationships with food and I asked them like how do you feel when you're eating? Like how do you think about food? How do you see yourself and your relationship with food? And I listened to their perspectives and how they saw themselves and how they saw food. And I took those into my meditations and I just tried to imagine that in these ways I was like these people and experiencing the feelings that they were experiencing. And within a few months of doing that, like my binge eating just totally stopped. And it wasn't this forceful thing, which is so hard for most people to it's so hard for most people to get out of any eating disorder type issues. Again, I'm like self-diagnosing here, but It's so difficult because it's such a shame cycle of, like, you you willpower yourself into not doing whatever it is whether it's the restriction or it's the overeating, you try to willpower yourself through it, but then eventually it breaks, and then you eat too much, or you restrict, and then you feel all the shame, and it just creates this, like, loop, and it's so difficult to break simply with your willpower.